I'm very happy to be here. I have availed of the earliest opportunity after my release from jail to come over to West Pakistan to acquaint our brethren here with the conditions obtaining in our part of Pakistan and to remove the clouds of misunderstanding that have been deliberately cast in the minds of the people here, particularly on the state language movement, which convulsed the country for a long time. Ever since the creation of Pakistan, the people of Pakistan have been making persistent demand of making Bengali as one of the state languages, it being the mother tongue of 45 million people of Pakistan. We made it quite clear that we are not adverse to Urdu. On the contrary, we have been advocating sincerely that for mutual understanding and goodwill, the people of East Pakistan must learn Urdu and those of West Pakistan Bengali. But the ruling clique in Pakistan has been insisting on destroying the language of the people of East Pakistan, and in their attempt to do so have introduced Arabic scripts into Bengali. They contend that Bengali is a Sanskritized Hindu language, and it is the language of Hindu culture. They betray their utter ignorance about the origin and the history of the language. To enter into a discussion as to how far Bengali language has been the creation of the Muslim rulers, poets, people, and how far they enriched the language and literature would be to recount the entire history of the last 5 centuries, and I would refrain from entering into such a long discussion. Suffice it to say that there is absolutely no sense in saying that Bengali is the language of the Hindus. This boogie has been raised by persons who do not even know the very alphabets of the language and who are following the footsteps of their erstwhile masters, the Britishers, who replaced Persian, the language of the Muslims, by English and turned the Muslim community into a host of drawers of water and hewers of wood. In the year 1948, Khaza Nazimuddin, the then Prime Minister of East Pakistan during the first state language movement, entered into a written agreement with the Committee of Action to give Bengali the status of state language along with Urdu. But the same gentleman, while making a speech at Dhaka Maidan on the 27th of January, threw his pledge to the winds and declared that Urdu shall be the only state language of Pakistan. Thus creates terrible resentment in the mind of the people, particularly the intellectual who had suffered during the 1948 movement. You are certainly aware of what followed thereafter and how several valuable lives were lost before the bullets of the Nazimuddin government. The reason for Khaza Nazimuddin hitting on the language problem is not far to seek. It is a common knowledge that the Muslim League has forfeited the confidence of the people and exists only on various safety acts and other undemocratic and dishonest methods. By introducing the language controversy, he wanted to create a cleavage between the East and West Pakistan, and his main purpose was to find a play in this lawful movement to suppress the opposition by oppression and intimidation. You will be surprised to hear that although the government was the sole aggressor on the peaceful students and people, and there was not a single instance of violence from the students, arrested over 500 workers and leaders, mostly Army leaguers and student leaders and workers throughout the province, including Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bashani, the president and the secretary of the East Pakistan Army Muslim League. You are certainly aware that due to popularity of the Army Muslim League and since the defeat of the Muslim League candidate by the secretary of the Army League in the Tangail by-election in 1949, as many as 26 by-elections in the province have been held up for last 4 years. The Muslim League candidates were defeated, hollow in the municipal and district board elections everywhere. This occasion was created to let loose the engine of oppression in East Pakistan to frighten the people on the eve of the general election. But that is not to be. Khaza Nazimuddin has misjudged the people of East Pakistan with whom he never had any personal contact throughout his life as he was supported by popular votes. The recent oppression has only strengthened the stamina and determination of the people to fight the menace, namely the Sarkari Muslim League. You also know that within 6 months of the formation of Awami Muslim League, the President Secretary, Joint Secretary, and many workers of the organizations were thrown into prison. I myself was in detention for about 2.5 years. The Awami Leaguers were prevented from the lawful activities of holding meetings through promulgation of the British regime, namely the Nawabs, Knights, Khan Bahadurs, and ex-Muslim Congressites. The people of East Pakistan are united to throw the unholy combination from power by all constitutional means. The insufficiency, corruption, nepotism of the Muslim League government have been responsible for the death of about 20,000 men due to famine in the Khulna district alone. Lots of people in the Barishal and other districts are facing death. Thousands of beggars infest the towns in East Pakistan due to scarcity of food. This state of affairs is a challenge to Islam and Pakistan, but the Muslim League and its government are callous to this. All the resources and engines of the government are utilized for keeping their gaddi intact and permanent. This greed and corruption brought the price of salt to rupees 16 a share, unknown in the history of the world. Jute, which is the main cash crop in the East Pakistan and provides 75% of the trade of Pakistan, has been virtually killed at the altar of the greed of businessmen like Isfahanis and the agents of Muslim League. The growers have been pauperized as they could not get even the cost of production, and the foreign buyers have been scared away due to uneconomic prices exacted by the greedy traders. Betel nuts and tobacco, two next important cash crops, have also been totally upset due to unsound and suicidal policy of the Muslim League government. I would invite the people of West Pakistan, and particularly the journalists, to go over to the rural areas in East Pakistan and see for themselves the awful plight of the people. If this government is allowed to continue in power anymore, the whole community will be turned into Arabian desert and 90% people will become destitute. The educational structure of East Pakistan has been completely shattered. The ministry is spending lakhs of rupees on false propaganda, mainly to lull the people into sleep. The hundreds of plans are published in government papers and magazines and the government-subsidized paper. This weak and timid Muslim League ministry are responsible for the killing in Kashmir. 5 years are passing, but no solution is in sight. Our brothers in Kashmir are gasping under Dogra Abdullah regime and the Muslim League government looking helplessly to Anglo-American dominated Security Council for the solution of Kashmir problem. This hopelessness might have increased the bargaining power of America with India, but it can never help us in getting back Kashmir. In spite of such glaring failure and timidity on their own part, the Muslim League government invokes unity on the scene of Kashmir. But I can tell you with confidence that you cannot get back Kashmir under this weak, worthless leadership of if not once removed. We remember the great Calcutta killing when all these people who now, though preside over our destiny, fled away in the sight of danger, and it was the valiant leadership Mr. Sarwardi and the people that won us this battle. We make our people bold and fearless, and not frighten them as the Muslim Leaguers. It is shame and disgrace that Pakistan, being the greatest Muslim state in the world, should dance in the tune of oppression. Anglo-American imperialists, even on the face of their oppression and pressure of Muslims on the Middle East and Tunisia. The tragedy is that people who were nurtured in the British imperialism are in the helm of administration today in our country. We are free in name and not in substance. Where is the Constitution of Charter of the right of the people of a free country? So far Awami League is concerned, it advocates a policy of active neutrality, We are not to side with or merge any bloc. We may accept help from any country, construction, progress, and prosperity of our people, provided it is voluntary, unconditional, and free from political or economic interferences. We have open mind to receive the best from the other countries of the world, to emulate in our soil as a free, independent, sovereign country. Awami League will contest all the Muslim seats in the East Bengal Assembly. The election must be fair and free. All our workers and leaders detained under security must be released forthwith. Freedom of expression must be allowed. Ban on newspapers must be removed. If the methods of the Punjab and NWFP are repeated in East Bengal, we shall resist them both tooth and nail, because the absence of free election will launch the country in chaos and disaster. The Muslim League ministers want to confuse the people by saying that there is no difference of program between Awami League and Muslim League. This is false. The Muslim League has no program. It only talks vague on the problems of the country, whereas East Pakistan Awami League has its published manifesto. It aims at economic betterment of the people on the basis of a set program. It stands for abolition of jamindari without compensation, nationalization of jute and other key industries, to develop industries on government initiative, narrowing down the gap between the highly paid and low-paid officers and assuring minimum living wages to all. It stands for free compulsory education and thorough change in the educational system in the light of independence. It stands for eradicating evils of corruption, bribery, favoritism, nepotism by practical means. In short, the party pledged to uplift the condition of masses and aimed a classless society based on Islamic equity and justice.